guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you how to make the most amazing pumpkin muffins you'll ever have in your entire life. They're going to be stuffed with a cream cheese filling. They're going to be topped with a streusel topping. They are everything you love about fall and so much more. I'm gonna make big giant muffins because the inspiration for this came when when you go to a really nice coffee place and they've got those really big, beautiful muffins. Well, I want the same thing. I don't want them at home. So that's what I'm gonna make for you today. You can make these in a standard muffin pan, of course, but I'm just gonna go all out. It's the weekend. I can. Let me run you through the list of ingredients. It's not very big, it's not very complicated, but they're all the right ones. You need all-purpose flour, pumpkin pie spice, baking soda, baking powder and salt, granulated sugar, pure pumpkin puree, eggs, milk, vegetable oil, vanilla extract, cream cheese, and you're also going to need unsalted butter, flour, brown sugar, and a little bit of raw sugar, which is totally optional, but a little bit extra sugar makes it all delicious. I've got my oven preheated to 375, and what I have here is a 6-pan jumbo muffin pan. Now, like I said, you can make this recipe in a standard muffin pan. It'll work out just as well. You bake them for a little bit less, but I'm gonna really make these outrageously big today because that's what I am looking for. So that's what we're gonna do. Start with the cream cheese. I've got a little bit of cream cheese in this bowl. To it, I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and I'm going to add a splash of vanilla. Now I'm doing this first because I'm going to use my handheld electric whisk, and I want to do the cream cheese filling first. That way I don't have to wash it and I can move right on to the actual batter. So I'm just going to cream all this together until it's nice and creamy. Duh. Perfect. Just going to take it all off. Go on. All off the beater. And now I'm just gonna move on to my next bowl. Set that aside. That is good to go. This recipe could not be easier, but it is so amazing. In this large bowl, I'm going to add all of my pretty much wet ingredients, and that does include the sugar. So we've got sugar, we've got pure pumpkin puree, and please make sure you're buying pure pumpkin puree and not pumpkin pie filling, because pumpkin pie filling already has sugar and spices and milk in it, and you don't want that. I always like to control everything myself, so I always buy the pure pumpkin puree, and then I'll add everything else myself. So the milk, the pumpkin, the oil, the eggs, the sugar, the whole bit. And now I want to cream this together really well. I don't want to have any clumps of pumpkin or anything, so I'm just going to take my time and mix this for about a minute or two. Excellent. Just give it a good scrape from the sides of your bowl. Just make sure everything gets incorporated. And now I'm just going to quickly mix together my dry ingredients. Now, in my dry ingredients, I've got some pumpkin pie spice. Now, pumpkin pie spice is just a blend of cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and it's just a perfect blend. It goes so well with pumpkin. It really, I use it in apple recipes. I use it in no apple and no pumpkin, just like an additional, it's like an additional spice, kind of like how you would cinnamon. It's phenomenal, and it perfumes your house like you would not believe. I'm gonna add all of my dry ingredients in. And now I'm just going to mix these together until incorporated, but don't overmix, otherwise your muffin will be tough. I'm going to add just a splash of vanilla, which I forgot to add with my wet ingredients, but you know what? That's the great thing about being the boss in your kitchen. You can make things up as you go along, you can fix things up as you go along. Basically, as you go along, you can do what you want. All right, these look fantastic. So here's what I do. I got a big ice cream scoop and a small ice cream scoop, the equivalent of about 3.5 tablespoons and the equivalent of 1 tablespoon. So you take your big one, right? You put 1 scoop like that in the base. Then you take 1 scoop, small scoop, right, just like that. And then you take another scoop right on top. Are you feeling? Am I making sense? Are you feeling me with this? I'm so excited. If you have not noticed, this is the first pumpkin recipe of the season. It's technically not even fall outside, which is why you don't see decorations, because I don't put the decorations out until the first official day of fall, but I just could not help myself. I'm so excited for this time of year, and I just had to share this recipe with you. So I'm just gonna finish building my muffins, and then we'll move on to the topping. All right, brown sugar, all-purpose flour, cold butter, a little tiny pinch of pumpkin pie spice, and I also have some raw sugar on the side. I'm going to take my pastry cutter, which by the way, it's a very inexpensive tool, but if you make streusel toppings a lot or pie dough by hand, this is a tool that is so absolutely necessary. You have no idea. And what I will do, or let's be honest, what Joe will do for you, on my website, on the shop page, I'll put together a list of a lot of my favorite tools that I use on a regular basis that you can go ahead and purchase if you want to, because I get so many questions about little things like this, and I always forget to either link it or mention it. So I'll make sure that Joe puts that together for you, so you've got all the necessary tools you need to bake along with me this season. All right, so this is perfect. You don't want to get the butter incorporated too much, because the whole idea here is that you've got your butter in small little pieces, kind of like the size of peas. And now all you do is you just take this mixture, right? And you just literally mound it on your muffins. And that is it. And then for a little extra crunch, a little bit of raw sugar. You really need like a half a teaspoon for each one, and it's not even necessary, but I love it. I love that extra crunch that it provides. I'm gonna pop these into my oven at 375. They'll take about 25 minutes or so, maybe even a little bit longer, just because they're so big. And I'm gonna let them cool and show you what they look like when they're done. All right, so my muffins baked for about 30 minutes. They've got the most glorious, like crunchy lid, if you will. And you can see the cream cheese mixture is like starting to come through the top. They smell unbelievably good. Look at this. Oh my goodness, these are gonna be phenomenal. They're really gigantic. And to be honest, I would advise you to make these smaller, but look at that. I'd advise you to make them smaller so that they're much easier to eat. Just because, you know, as glorious as they are, this size, you can't eat a whole one. At least I can't. You can. People do crazy things, but even I can't eat a whole one. I'm just gonna go right in the middle. Let me take some more. You know, believe it or not, they're not too sweet. Perfect amount of filling. The crunchy lid is everything. They're so fantastic. And that's the perfect way to start pumpkin season. Beyond delicious. Go to laurainthekitchen.com. So good. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get this recipe. Please make it. They are so worth it. Like I said, you might want to make them smaller so they're just a little bit easier. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. Now see you next time. Bye.